This is the design of Amsterdam's new erotic center.
Ooh.
Commissioned by the city government in 2020, it's a concept for a 5,000 square meter high-rise with hotel rooms, offices, bars, entertainment facilities, a store, and a restaurant.
Why is Amsterdam building a new red light district? That is what we're going to find out today, guys. So welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, hey, hopefully by the end of this, I earn your subscription. It will really help a lot. I'm trying to get to 100K subscribers so I can get that nice shiny silver YouTube play button. So every subscriber counts, right? And it's because of you guys that I get to do what I get to do. So the video for the day is by the channel Hogue. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it because I was told that he was a Dutch person, lived in America for a little while. So according to the Dutch pronunciation, it would be like Hogue. Hogue. If I'm doing the G right, Hogue or Hogue, something like that. But anyways, why Amsterdam is building a new red light district. That is the title of the video. So we've all heard of the red light district. But that's about as far as my knowledge goes on it. I just know that there is a red light district and it's for like adult entertainment and stuff like that. Why are they building a new one? I don't know. Maybe the one they got ain't enough. They need more. Or maybe they're relocating because it's not in a good spot. I don't know. But hey, we're going to find out. As always, the links to the original video will be down in that description section. Hit like and drop a comment while you're down there. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And we're gonna find out about this, guys.
This is the design of Amsterdam's new erotic center.
Ooh.
Commissioned by the city government in 2020, it's a concept for a 5,000 square meter high-rise with hotel rooms, offices, bars, entertainment facilities, a store, and a restaurant.
That's like a whole little community all in one building. You can get your erotic entertainment, you can get your food, you can buy some merchandise while you're there. It's a really cool building. I don't think that fits into the theme of Amsterdam. I think that would actually look better in The Hague, where you do have more modern style architecture. It's a great looking building. I love the circular aspect of it. But as you can tell by this picture here, that doesn't blend in well with the surrounding area. You know, you got all these vintage Dutch style, not Dutch style, obviously they are Dutch, but you know, the traditional, you know, sort of Dutch architecture. And then you got that right in the middle of it. It kind of looks out of place to me, you know, but hey, what do I know? I'm just a dumb American, right, guys?
When it's finished, it will be one of Europe's largest and most advanced brothels.
Ooh.
And as interesting as its design are the locations that it's being considered for. Locations on the outskirts of the city. So why did Amsterdam's government commission the design of this new building? Why at locations far from its historic red-lit center?
Maybe to spread it out. Maybe there's too much riffraff in that area downtown. A lot of tourists and stuff go downtown, this and that. Maybe they're trying to spread it out a little bit more.
And why are people so angry? Back in 2009, a Labour politician waited. The city was voting on a plan he had spearheaded, a plan called Project 1012. Named after the zip code of the city's most notorious red light district, it was designed to clean it up. Low-quality buildings, such as window brothels and coffee shops, had to go. But instead of making new regulations, the lawmaker was praised for a unique approach.
What's wrong with the coffee shops? That's one of the most famous things about Amsterdam.
His solution was spatial. Buy up buildings associated with crime and push crime away. The city government was convinced, and his plan would pass. Little did they all know, it would soon collapse. Over the course of more than a decade, it would lead to the closure of more than 100 individual window brothels, along with tens of individual coffee shops. However, when attempts were made to measure the impact of Project 1012, not much could be found. It had a marginal impact on crime, and today the center's image as an adult theme park with shady edges still remains strong. But if there's one thing his plan did do, was that it created a rift among hundreds of sex workers and the city government of Amsterdam, one that persists even as the newest mayor picks up the mantle again and tries to change the center even more. In 2020, the city government banned organized tours of the red light district. In May of 2023, bans on cannabis within the district entirely. There's also
I think they're going to lose a lot of money with that. And bans on cannabis in this district. Cannabis isn't even really technically legal in the Netherlands. They just kind of, I mean, obviously it's worldwide known for cannabis use, but it's more of a thing where they just kind of tolerate it, I think, right? Because I've seen videos where people are smoking a joint talking to a cop, so do they enforce it? I don't know.
in May of 2023, bans on cannabis within the district entirely. There's also been mandated bar closures, bans on the sale and display of alcohol, and even ad campaigns targeted towards young to middle-aged British men. She and the executive body have even floated the idea of banning international tourists from buying marijuana in the city entirely.
Oh, yeah, they're going to lose money. From what I hear, a lot of German people go, I don't know necessarily to Amsterdam, but they go to the Netherlands. Cannabis is a lot more restricted in Germany, right? So from what I hear, there's a ton of Germans that go to the Netherlands, to the coffee shops. So I don't know. So are they talking about just in the red light district or just the whole thing?
The idea of banning international tourists from buying marijuana in the city entirely.
Just the city?
She's also brought up the idea of introducing entrance gates to the red light district. This would create the first physically regulated neighborhood in a major European city. Not even Venice does that. But her most controversial suggestions started soon after her nomination in 2019, when she brought attention towards changing the rooms in the red light district again.
How do you guys feel about this? I know this is definitely going to be a divided topic. You're going to have some people extreme on this side and extreme on that side. It's just one of those things, but let me know what you guys think about this.
In Amsterdam, there are actually 3 separate red light districts. The most well-known is in the center, called De Wallen, which has 249 rooms. But the other 2, and much less well-known, are the Singelgebied and the Ruisdaelkade, which have 63 and 40 rooms respectively.
Okay.
In 2019, Femke Halsema, the newest mayor of Amsterdam, presented 4 scenarios for the future of De Wallen. 3 of those scenarios targeted each of these districts in order to reduce over-tourism. Her first scenario was to change window prostitution permanently. Amsterdam closes all the curtains in the Wallen and Singel, while the rooms stay open. If a lot of the attraction to the red light district is simply to be able to walk around and look, take away what people look at, and you not only reduce potential tourists, but push the tourists that do come to other parts of the city.
No more window shopping, guys.
With increased digitization, sex workers can increasingly rely on getting clients via their phones rather than off the streets. The assumption is that this would just speed up an inevitable transformation from physical windows to digital ones.
The age of digitalization, right, guys?
From physical windows to digital ones. In her second scenario, Amsterdam would see the most radical change. All the rooms in De Wallen and Singel are removed and shifted to other parts of the city. The number of rooms does not change like it did in Project 1012, but their locations do. However, because closing all the rooms in De Wallen is highly unrealistic, the city government is going forward with Halsema's third and most realistic scenario. Instead of all, a chunk of the rooms in De Wallen and Singel are moved. Although it's more realistic, the city government has not made it clear how large that chunk will actually be.
So they're not going to get rid of it. They're just going to minimize it and then relocate a lot of it somewhere else, which is just going to spread it around. That's like saying like, okay, I don't like this stain here. So instead of leaving, this Kool-Aid in this little puddle, so I don't want it to stain. I'm just going to take a little bit of it and then smear it over that way. Is that really going to fix whatever supposed problem they think there is? Or is it just going to spread it out and possibly make it worse? I don't know. It's a divided topic. Like I said, there's people that's going to think about it as a problem, and there's going to people going to be thinking about it as not a problem, obviously, right?
But, different from Project 1012, Halsema has made the commitment that when rooms get removed, they have to come someplace new. At the start, the government considered two building types: a single unit high-rise, and the second, a cluster of different multifunction buildings. They also commissioned research into building on a floating pavilion. The design is meant to anticipate for about 100 individual rooms for sex workers, and also other entertainment facilities. On the one hand, the city wants to model Pasha when it comes to size.
What is Pasha? I don't know what that is.
Pasha is the world's largest brothel. However, it's
Okay.
not a particularly welcoming or friendly-looking building. So on the other hand, they also want to model the more modern, less sketchy design of Antwerp's largest brothel, Villa Tinto.
Villa Tinto.
But these
Antwerp,
brothels
huh?
aside, there's a few things that make Amsterdam's new erotic center completely different.
Antwerp. They're talking about in Belgium. So is sex workers legal in Belgium as well? If so, I didn't know that. I thought it was just the Netherlands kind of thing.
The mayor of Amsterdam knows that a brothel is controversial. This is why she hopes Amsterdam can make one with class and distinction. By mixing hotel rooms with painting courses, art exhibitions, and a debate center, the hope is that they can avoid designing an isolated sex palace.
It would too. It would just be a sex palace. Oh, that's fun. I never thought about it like that. It would. It would just be a massive sex palace. So they're going to try to mix in art and stuff like that, because there is beauty in the human form, So you could do like the nude paintings, and do like art shows and all that kind of thing.
The hope is that they can avoid designing an isolated sex palace. For an actual physical model, they commissioned Moog, a Dutch architecture studio, to come up with a design.
I like the design of it.
The architects Gianni Cito and Jurgen ten Hoeve designed a concept that attempts to convert the linear streets of the red light district into a circular form.
Although I love the design of it. I think it looks nice. It's modern. I love the circular design. I just don't think that it fits in with the rest of Amsterdam's architecture. As nice of a building as it may be, it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. It really will.
Inspired by Frank Lloyd Wright's Guggenheim, Cito won an architecture prize for making a design that repurposed two sugar silos into a cultural center with internal circular walkways.
Okay.
Jurgen ten Hoeve, the other architect, was nominated for the same prize in 2018 for his design of a collection of buildings modeled after a monastery. It was a network of buildings superimposed in Rotterdam that attempts to give an option for pedestrians to leave the busyness of the city.
A monastery, huh? So he goes from designing a monastery to a sex palace. That's two way different things. That's interesting.
Together, both architects produce an interesting combination. You get a building that kind of looks like a parking garage with a continuous walkway that allows you to walk in the building as you would in the Villa, but circularly as opposed to linearly. Also, instead of a floor of the same individual homogeneous hotel rooms, it also attempts to recreate the network of the buildings on the street on each individual floor as well.
So like an indoor mall, basically.
To choose a location for the building, the city government considered 8 regions, and as of today, they've narrowed it down to 2 main locations, NDSM in Noord and around the Rij in Zuid.
I think the one up top would be the best, just because it's like right there on a big giant canal or river or whatever that is. I think it would look really cool with the like the reflections in the water and stuff.
In Noord, Amsterdam would have to deviate somewhat from the original Moog design and construct a floating brothel.
Okay.
It's likely that it would be a ponton of around 100 by 20 meters, with 2,000 square meters of space for 5 total floors. 1 basement, 1 roof terrace, and with the remainder holding the rooms and other facilities.
I think that's not as cool of a building, but I think it would fit into the standard traditional Dutch architecture in Amsterdam better though than the round one. And it's kind of cool because it floats. You know what I'm saying?
The government also considered repurposing a cruise ship since it would already be readily equipped with rooms, bars, theaters, and attractions like casinos.
Okay.
However, a cruise ship has a large number of constraints, making it an unlikely option.
Yeah, but they could literally also just go on cruises in it. You could do like a red light cruise weekend, or you could travel to different areas in the Netherlands through maybe the canal. I don't know if the cruise ship would be too big for it'd probably be too big for the canals, but yeah, it'd be kind of cool.
NDSM as a preferred location comes from the fact that it's a diverse, culturally rich neighborhood. It has plenty of room for additional buildings, such
Had a stink bug crawling up my microphone arm. It scared me for a second.
as for any needed security rich neighborhood. It has plenty of room for additional buildings, such as for any needed security or additional parking, but it also hosts one of the largest flea markets in Europe, has multiple popular restaurants and cultural attractions, and it also has a high density of mixed residential use areas.
I thought like the entirety of Amsterdam was a multicultural kind of multinational, international kind of place. So is there certain neighborhoods that's more so than others? Let me know. Drop a comment while you're down there.
Nonetheless, NDSM
Well, duh, if you let me know, it would be a comment. I meant hit like while you're down there. Sorry, guys, my brain don't think right sometimes. Give me some slack here.
of mixed residential use areas. Nonetheless, NDSM has a weakness. Its most immediate connection is via ferry.
Whoops. Gotta take this call.
NDSM has a weakness. Its most immediate connection is via ferry. Not only is that slower than other forms of public transport, but a ferry can only withstand so many more people.
Wait a minute. So are they saying that it's only accessible by ferry? I gotta go back and check that out real quick.
Slower than other forms of public. Its most immediate connection is via ferry.
Most immediate connection. So there's not a lot of road space to get in there? Huh.
Not only is that slower than other forms of public transport, but a ferry can only withstand so many more people. Amsterdam has considered building bridges to North, but it's unclear how long that would take or if they'll ever be built at all. So NDSM's main fault is its reachability, but NDSM's biggest benefit is that it's considerably hipper than the other section of the city that's under consideration.
Well, you take a red light district, sex palace with casinos and stores and art galleries and all that kind of stuff, then it'll bring the so-called hip people into that area. I'm sure it would drastically change that neighborhood.
Zuid is the poshest and most entitled area of Amsterdam and offers two plots: the Groene Zoom, a 2,000 square meter triangular piece of land, and then a second, likely the preferred option, a 21,500 square meter plot of land owned by the city government directly.
Now, if it's more posh, that just means the people in that area have more money to spend, probably.
Option, a 21,500 square meter plot of land owned by the city government directly. Unlike the singular ferry connection in Noord, Zuid has access to two metro connections. One that goes from north to south, giving potential clients from the center immediate access, and it also has a metro going from east to west, granting direct access to Amsterdam's business district.
Okay.
What it loses in being a hip and chill place to be, it gains in accessibility. It also has ample parking space. However, what both Noord and Zuid still have in common is that there are NIMBYs. Homeowners have voiced concerns about noise, criminality, and impact on children in the area.
Yeah.
Some sex workers have also voiced concerns about their own safety. According to the city government, the building will likely be a safer option than the status quo. Instead of sparse, separated buildings in an overcrowded neighborhood, a single building would have a centralized security system with a clear oversight over who enters and who leaves.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it would definitely be safer to be centralized into one building for sure.
The Erotic Center does what Project 1012 couldn't. It gets rid of rooms in the center, but without pushing sex workers into an unregulated underground. Also, unlike the Volle, which mixes tourists with potential clients, the new building is meant to attract primarily the clients. Some sex workers have complained that over-tourism has reduced their incomes because large crowds make actual potential clients too self-conscious to consume. According to the city government, a well-connected but more isolated building would reduce the attraction of the red light district for tourists, attract more clients than in the center, increasing sex workers' incomes, but it would also be quieter. Tourists are loud, but clients are the type of people who want to be private and have as little attention drawn to them as possible.
Yeah, I
However,
can understand.
This is also where some more difficult problems emerge. The Volle, with all of its issues, still has a unique advantage. It has a lot of eyes on the street. In the same way that it may make some clients too self-conscious to consume, it may do the same for more serious criminals. And this is where you get the NIMBYs. Homeowners would like a building that's as invisible as possible. This is why
If you want a building that's invisible as possible, why are you making it so tall and so round and so different than than the architecture around? You know what I mean? Make it blend in.
homeowners would like a building that's as invisible as possible. This is why the mayor has also promised a closed, isolated building that brings very little attention.
The building itself is going to bring attention. It's two giant round things. Come on now.
However, the more isolated and quiet the area, the more concerns about sex workers' safety. Also, the city already has problems with the number of police and security.
Why would there be more concerns about safety if it's going to have its own security and they're going to be centralized into one building? I don't get that part.
Since the Volle isn't entirely removed, by building an erotic center, you end up producing a fourth red light district, which potentially spreads an already thin police force even thinner. So the mayor has had problems. She's faced considerable backlash at town halls, and she's had to postpone making decisions on the erotic center. However, since 2021, Halsema has had a majority in the government. People can postpone and argue all they want, but all three parties, GroenLinks, D66 and PvdA, have agreed, be it an isolated building, cruise ship floating pavilion, north or in south. Some rooms in the Volle must be removed, and instead they must come somewhere new. However, a new erotic center may not even be Amsterdam's most controversial plan. The city government has also proposed replacing its historic famous public urinals with an advanced AI-powered urinal that comes out of the ground.
Sorry, but which I heard about this actually in one of the other Hogue reactions I did, but that was just funny watching that public toilet just explode. I wasn't expecting that at all, guys.
The story is fascinating, and I've made an entirely different video on it that you can watch right now on Nebula, a creator-owned streaming service.
I actually did a reaction on that. I wonder if it's just not available on YouTube anymore, because I did a reaction to that video about the Dutch urinals. I'll try to remember to put a link up top somewhere, probably over that way in that corner. Yeah, that was an interesting video, guys. Let me know what you think about it. And of course, it's a controversial subject. It's going to be divided. You got this side, you know. Yeah. But if you're new to the channel and if you enjoyed this video and everything and I earned your subscription, thank you. That's amazing. Glad to have you. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a super fun, awesome day. Take care.